What's going on? You know who it is. Back at you again with another reaction, man. It's your boy roachdonut, man. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday I went on a little rant about computers and tech in general. So I just wanted to just pull up some information, maybe go through some things, see if there's some small details that I don't know about. You know what I mean? So I hope everybody doing good today. Right now we tapping into what is a server. Servers versus desktops. My argument, or not argument, but how I see desktops and servers is I see them as being the same because you still access information from both of them. The servers are more client and business based, but you can run a business off of a desktop. So my whole perspective on computers is that they are computers. You know what I mean? These computers all demand the same things. My desktop or your desktop or this server or that server owned by whoever still have important sensitive information on them. So let's tap into a little instructional video talking about servers. Appreciate y'all tapping in at roachdonut on all platforms.
What is a server? So that is the topic of this video. Now, a server is basically a dedicated computer that provides services on behalf of clients, such as ordinary desktop computers or workstations. So it's a centralized machine where multiple clients connect to either over the internet or in a local area.
So, okay, now I'm understanding that it's all about multiple connectability. There's thousands of people who use a server as opposed to a desktop. It's just one person, or my desktop is connecting to a server that's somewhere in Idaho and it's 1,000 other people who are doing this. It's like video games. So I totally understand that. But we still accessing information, which I can access my information on the desktop.
Or in a local area network, and they connect to a server for a specific service. So for example, that service could be to retrieve a website, to access data, or email, and so on. Now, a server could be dedicated to handle one of these services only, where you would have one server dedicated for a website, one server for data storage, and a server for email. And this model is what larger organizations use. Or you can also set up a server to handle each of these services on the same machine, which is what typically happens in smaller organizations. So depending upon which setup is used, it all depends on the needs of an organization. Now, when people talk about a server, generally they are referring to a powerful, centralized computer that clients connect to over a network, and they would be correct on that. However, a server is not just a physical computer. A server is actually a role that a computer takes, because any ordinary...
That's a good point, and I like how he explained it. It is a role-playing computer that has sensitive information. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's somebody in big tech that's watching this and it's like, I wonder what his take is. I don't know. But my desktop is a role player too, because I can assign it a role for different instances. I can be playing video games on it. I could be doing work on it. I could be doing bull crap on it. I could be helping out. I can be work for hire. So a server in its essential use is kind of like that, and a desktop is like that. So in my argument, I think that personal computers, desktop computers, are still, in my opinion, considered servers, because I can position this computer to do tasks and give it a role. Like, for instance, for me, my PC is designated for content. So I actually do have connectability in a way to where I can create content and send that content out. Even though people aren't necessarily logging into my computer like a server, it still kind of is a server because I'm providing something that people can connect to. So that's, maybe I'm just playing devil's advocate or something. I don't know.
A role that a computer takes, because any ordinary desktop computer can be set up as a server, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a powerful computer.
Ooh, okay, somebody messing with me. Somebody feeling where I'm coming from. I thought I was the only one who looked at, a desktop as also a server. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never got clarification on that. I just got done taking a technology course, and I never. That was one of the questions I think I never got a chance to ask and go in detail about servers, which I think there's a reason why.
A powerful computer. So for example, you can set up a network in your home where you can have an ordinary desktop computer serve as a file server. The computer would have those files in a shared folder, and then other computers can connect to it to access those files. Or you can also use a desktop computer to serve as a web server, where you would install the website data on that computer, and then the other computers can connect to it and retrieve the web page. However, desktop computers do have their limitations because they are not designed to handle a large workload, and they can't handle a lot of.
And so that's the big boom right there, was handling so many connection points. And another thing, I don't know if he's going to talk about security, having a secure network or having a secure server space that people can access this information and not any hacking issues or crashes and shutdowns because of so much connectability simultaneously happening. So that's what I was running on. So a desktop can be made into this form of technology, obviously not as powerful. So now my question would be, are there multiple CPUs in a server, or are there specialized CPUs developed to handle so many different processes and information retrieval points? Like, I wonder how that works. We learning.
Designed to handle a large workload, and they can't handle a lot of incoming connections from users. And this is not only because of their inferior hardware, but it's also because of software, because desktop operating systems are only able to handle a limited amount of concurrent connections. Now, servers need to be up and running 24/7 because they are vital to an organization. And if a server does go down, then that could jeopardize a business or an organization. So this is why servers need to be more reliable. They need to be built with robust hardware that's able to run non-stop with little to no downtime. So for example, a desktop would use a processor that's designed, obviously, for desktops.
We getting right into it. I'm just throwing it out there, man. They answering the questions. This is a very thorough video. Shout out to this person who made this video, man.
Such as the Intel Core series processors, and a server would use a processor designed for servers, such as the Intel Xeon processor. A server processor needs to be fast and have the ability to perform a lot of tasks simultaneously.
Wait. Now look, what if I'm sure this already happened, but y'all probably already know where I'm going with this. Okay, so this is a desktop CPU, right? I would imagine that a server CPU is maybe triple the price. So what I'm saying, where I'm going. If I put a server CPU in a desktop computer, I would imagine that would make processing triple the speed, meaning that I can run some of the biggest programs at a fast rate. But my question would be is, how much energies does server use? How much wattage is demanded in order to run a server.
Simultaneously. Now, both of these processors are powerful, but there are some differences. So, for example, Xeon processors support a multi-processing environment, so they are designed to work with other processors, which
They take multiple processors, bro. Imagine if I'm playing a video game and I got 2 CPUs and 4 GPUs, or 2 GPUs, or whatever, however that works. Imagine that. And imagine what type of design this motherboard is and the power supply that you need for this. Like, there's gotta be something in the memory space that you need. And does it take a RAM? Like, random access, like how much random access? And probably a bunch, because you got a whole bunch of people connecting, right?
So they are designed to work with other processors, which means you can put 2 or more Xeon processors on a motherboard designed for servers, which is what a lot of servers need to handle a large workload. But desktop processors do not support this. They are only designed to work by themselves.
The server gigahertz is a million gigahertz. That's how fast that they putting in work.
And not with other processors. And another difference is that Xeon processors support ECC RAM, which is error code correcting memory.
They are answering every question that we have, bro. And these is 128 gigabyte RAMs, bro. So these things can really process a lot of information very fast, which makes sense because you got thousands of people accessing this information as opposed to your desktop. You just one dude that's tapping into, you know what I'm saying? You one dude, one chick tapping into this. So now look, this the big thing. How does this affect gaming? Because if a gaming company can afford to buy the best servers, and that means better connectability for their users, right? Meaning that you'll have like low ping, right? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
ECC RAM, which is error code correcting memory. And this type of memory is what's mainly used in servers. Now, servers need to be up and running at all times, and memory errors could bring down a server. And what ECC does is that it detects if the data was correctly processed by the RAM module, and it makes a correction if it needs to prevent memory errors. So using ECC memory in servers is just an extra precaution to guard against any errors to prevent a server from shutting down. And Intel Core processors do not support ECC RAM. However, AMD processors do support it. Xeon processors can also support a larger
Intel's still nice though. You know what I'm saying? Intel, they still do the damn thing. Shout out to Intel. Shout out to AMD. You know what I'm saying? But I'm starting to see like some. I'm guessing that ECC RAM is like, since you got so many different like connection points that errors can happen, so you can like kind of reverse that and fix it. And I would guess that would like prevent crashing or something like that. That's what I'm doing. It would stop crashing, or at least make crashing a lot lower possibility. So I mean, you're accessing so much information within a small amount of time, right? And you're giving it to so many thousands of people, right? So it's like, I'm seeing they had to design specific software, you know what I'm saying, to do this. So it's like, this pretty. I didn't know some of this stuff. Like, it's pretty dope. I had an idea, but not like this.
amount of
It puts
RAM.
into perspective, like gaming wise. Like, okay, now I know. Like, I had speculations, like, cause I was hearing about dudes move to certain states and cities just so they can connect to the servers. I'm like, how y'all doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lead for real. Hey man, speaking on that, these gaming organizations, man, what's the deal, man? Y'all need to go ahead and link me, because obviously there's some inside interest. I'm not, once again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or a hater. I'm saying, put me in one of these gaming organizations, man, because as you can see, I had the intelligence, I got the gameplay, the content, you know what I'm saying? I could really link in. I would imagine that if you're running a gaming organization and you have certain sections of gaming within your organization, like say it's FaZe Clan, and then you got COD players, Valorant players, CSGO players, you may move these players closer to these servers and get connected with the people who have connections to these servers, so they can your players can have the best experiences on the games to create higher power content. Maybe I'm I don't know, bro. I'm the dude for real.
Xeon processors can also support a larger amount of RAM, they would have a larger cache memory, and they would also have a higher core count than desktop processors. And a server should also have hot swappable hard drives in a RAID configuration, because if a hard drive were to fail, then no data loss would happen, and the server would still be up and running because of RAID. RAID is what copies the data on multiple disks, and if a hard drive were to fail, then it can be removed and replaced without shutting down the server, and then RAID would rebuild the data on the new hard drive automatically. And a server should also have redundant power supplies to keep the server up and running in case of a power supply.
This is what I wanted to know. So they damn near got like generators or some shit to back up the data, right? Like to back up the information in the servers. Like you have a main power supply, and then you have like generators just in case like the server shut down or some like, bro, that's crazy. Like, so that means that you will probably have a few employees working in these server spaces to keep them going. I wonder if there's any like commonalities between like this, like servers like this, and like crypto farming and stuff. Because like when I think crypto farming, I kind of think of stuff like this.
To keep the server up and running in case of a power supply failure. And a server also needs to use a server operating system, such as Linux, Windows Server, Mac OS Server.
Shout out to Microsoft, man, holding it down.
And so on. Server, Windows Server, Mac OS Server, and so on. Server operating systems are robust and stable, and they are designed to run non-stop and are able to handle thousands of concurrent connections. Now, there are many different types of servers, and when I mean types, I'm talking about the type of service that the server provides. So, for example, a web server. A web server is what hosts a website. So any website that you go to with your web browser, you are connecting over the internet to that web server to pull up the website you want. The web server will contain all of the website's data, including the HTML code and graphics.
I think they just said host. So I mean, I remember when I was in my technology course, they were talking about like web hosting, like hosts, when we were designing websites. And then they was talking about like, you know, you had like hosters, and then they own servers, and then you're connecting. You're basically paying for server space or dedicated server space, and then paying for security when you spend money with the hosts of these servers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's pretty crazy. I remember even back in the day when we used to play video games, it was like so important about like who had host. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. I think it's all coming together. When I was young, I was naive and pretty dumb. So like I didn't know. I mean, I'm still young, but I'm saying like when I was a kid.
Including the HTML code and graphics, and it'll also be running the web server software. Another type of server is an email server. An email server is what facilitates the sending and receiving of email. And you would access the email using your...
So this is something probably like Google uses, huh?
web browser, or you can use an email client such as Outlook or Thunderbird using email protocols such as IMAP, POP, and SMTP. And a database server is another type of server. This type of server stores data on the back end, and then it's retrieved from computers on the front end, for example, using queries such as SQL. So these are just a few examples of what servers do, but there is a lot more. So thank you everyone for watching this video on servers and the difference between.
Yo, man, PowerCert, man, shout out to you, man. You made one of the most informational videos about information that I done seen, man. That was a real good video, man. Shout out to you. It's your boy at roachdonut, man. We just tapped into servers. It was having a conversation about servers yesterday because I was having my little rant or whatever. So, I really love technology. You know what I'm saying? I want to, know everything about it. I mean, this is pretty much the motherboard of the motherboard right here. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to information, is these servers, and that's why Web3 was designed to try to combat this. You know what I'm saying? But I think everything is good. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think it's a lane for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all tapping in. It's the Roach family. You know what I'm saying? We trying to provide some fire content, man. Go to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all spread the word about these videos, man. I appreciate y'all. Roach family, let's get it.